Before we get into this special weekend edition of Just the Truth, let me tell you about the latest special from Michael and Dale at MyPillow. The standard MyPillow, normally $49.98 for a limited time only, just $14.88 with promo code Joey. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and see all the specials. There's a limited quantity of just 10 at this special price. That's $14.88 with promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in. Glad to have you join us this weekend. Here's what we have for you. Tom Ray, Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer, and Communications Officer with the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport, joins us. If you've traveled recently, you know they have a lot going on at GSP, and we'll learn all about the new expansion and what's on the horizon. There's a great organization working to bridge the gap between communities and law enforcement. Serve and Connect was founded by Kassy Alia Ray after her husband was killed in the line of duty. She joins us on today's show. And with the Christmas holiday season upon us, there are grinches out there who want to spoil things for you. Master Deputy Shakita Davis with CrimeStoppers of Greenville will give us some holiday tips to keep you safe. There's a lot to cover. Let's get started. If you've been through the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport lately, you probably noticed things look a little bit bigger, a little bit different, a whole lot busier, and now GSP just cut the ribbon on a major upgrade, a brand new state-of-the-art rental car center and public parking garage with a $97 million investment. The timing is great for the opening right as holiday travel ramps up, and it's all part of GSP's long-term plan to keep up with the explosive growth we're seeing here in the upstate. More parking, smoother traffic flow, a consolidated modern rental car facility, and airport officials say that this is just one more piece of a much bigger puzzle to prepare for the next decades of travel demand here. Joining us now to talk about what travelers can expect and what's coming next for GSP is the Vice President, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer, Tom Ray. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing great. It's a great day in the upstate.
Yes, it is. Let's start with the big picture here. $97 million rental car center and parking garage. Why was this project so essential for GSP now and for the future?
Well, this year, actually, by calendar year 2025, we will reach, for the first time ever, 3 million passengers using GSP. And then moving forward, we're projecting another 5 or 6% annual growth, really for as far as we can see. So lots of traffic coming our way, lots of visitors, lots of people moving into our area, as we all know. And so we have to have facilities ready in advance of that growth coming here. And the garage, while it is a parking garage, 2 levels of it will be for public parking. 2 levels are going to be for rental car operations. And we know with the tourism growth and with the business growth in this area, rental car operations will continue to grow. And we were really kind of constrained in parking garage A, where we had that facility built previously. That garage was built in 1988. So a lot has changed. While it was top of the line in 1988, a lot has changed. And so we have put all of the new modern amenities into this new facility, a new ticket lobby, just very much like the terminal has, but for rental cars. We will put all of the fueling and the vacuums and the car washes and everything else that these companies need to turn the cars quickly and make sure that they're top of the line for the customers coming in, and put those all in that facility rather than having cars travel up and down GSP Drive and all around campus, clogging up the roadways. We've allowed to not only clear those cars out, make it much more efficient, and the rental car companies now have plenty of room to grow as this community continues to grow.
Yeah. As we head into the Christmas season, holiday travel is going to increase as well. What kind of immediate impact are you expecting this new facility to have on, let's say, wait times, parking availability, overflow, that type of thing?
Well, as anyone who's come out to the airport in the last couple years knows, the parking garages fill quickly and frequently. And so this opening up another 750 spaces up close is a welcome from many of the people who, while we have more parking, in our remote lots, they just like to park very close to the terminal if they can. And so it's a welcome relief in that area. And it will be really of use coming forward in 2026 and beyond, because we will spend some time and effort now that this new facility is open to go back and put some new life into our Garage A and Garage B, upgrading lighting and just doing some love that it needs, that a 30 or 40-year-old garage, gets a lot of life on it. And so we want to bring it back to life and refresh it. And so in doing that, we'll take a few levels of parking out at a time, do the work, and then put them back in. So having more capacity up close will really be helpful as we're going through that process.
Tom Ray is my guest today from GSP International Airport. So Tom, if someone travels over the holiday season and they're planning to leave their car there, is it safe to say that they won't be necessarily looking for a spot now, that there's plenty of parking now, or will you find that this is pretty much going to just meet the demand and or will this take care of us for a few years to come?
Well, this will take care of us for a few years to come, but I do highly recommend, particularly at heavy times like the holidays and even when we get into spring break and into summer when there's lots of travel, peak times, that people will book ahead. On our website, we have an option for you to pre-book your parking in whichever garage or parking lot you'd like to have. It's actually a little cheaper than when you just show up and decide to park in whichever garage looking for your space. And besides being cheaper, it also guarantees you a spot in advance. So on the days you're going to depart, day you're going to come back, you have a space in the garage of your choice or the parking lot of your choice. And that's the best way to go. And it will save you a few bucks a day as well.
Yep. And I like to save a few bucks every day, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Every little bit helps.
Yeah. In addition, of course, to the parking garage, you guys have been rolling out a series of upgrades, redesigned roadways, new surface lights, FBO improvements. Talk with us about some of the other things, some of the other expansion and upgrades that you've had going on.
Yeah, so as you've noticed over the last few years, there's been a lot of dirt being moved, and roadways sometimes were hard to figure out what we were doing as passengers came through. But the entire project was taking an airport that was over 60 years old and was never really designed for all the traffic that we have to make those roadways fit what we see coming down the road. And so we did about a $20 million project to redo the entire front curb of the airport a couple years ago. And as that was finished, that then allowed us to move forward with this parking garage. And then moving beyond that, we have another roadway we're building that will go into our aviation parkway. There's a large roundabout as you come in from the Interstate 85. There will be a new road that cuts across from really 14 to Aviation Parkway. And that is to really relieve a lot of congestion that's right there around parking garage A and B and allow traffic to kind of spread out. And so it's all about making sure that cars are moving all the time and that we have lots of room in a fairly compact area, as we know that there's going to be more cars, more buses, more shuttles, more Ubers, Lyfts coming in the future. We want to make sure we can accommodate those. And so there'll still be some more projects moving forward. In fact, over the next 5 to 7 years, we have about $500 million of projects planned.
Wow.
And so we'll continue to have some more development coming on at GSP in the next few years.
Wow, $500 million. So take a minute, Tom, and with me today, Tom Ray with the GSP International Airport. Talk with us about that funding and where that comes from.
Yeah, so the biggest piece that everybody should know about the airport is that we don't receive any taxpayer money. So all the money that is generated at the airport is generated by the people who use the airport. So if you don't ever fly out of the airport, you're just dropping off friends and family and going on, then you haven't contributed to, paying for some of these projects. But the airlines that operate here, the gift shops, the rental cars, land development that we do, those types of things all go in to make sure that we can keep the facilities that we have. And we've really diversified our business profile here so that a lot of airports are just passenger airports or just cargo airports. We do a lot of passengers, but we do a lot of cargo. We do land development. We actually run 5 of the 7 restaurants in our building. We run all the parking. We do all the fueling on the airfield. So being very diversified allows us to make sure when there are ups and downs in the economy that GSP continues to contribute to the bottom line and to some of these construction projects and development projects that we need as a region to make sure that our companies are competitive and that people can, reach the destinations that they want to reach without having to drive hours and hours and hours to other cities.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that we should be looking for, let's say, over the next decade?
Yeah, so one of the things that's going to happen fairly soon is going to be September of 2026. We're actually going to have to have a runway closure for 2 weekends in September. And since we have just one runway, it's 11,000 feet, so it's a really long runway, but we just have one. And about every 20 years, we're going to have to do some repaving and maintenance of that runway. And that time has come. So in September of 2026, we'll have 2 weekends where, just kind of an odd thing, we'll actually close the airport for 2 72-hour periods, 2 weekends in a row. And so that's taken a lot of years of coordination with the airlines and others to find a time for that to happen. But that's about a $25 to $30 million renovation to that runway that we'll have to be doing in 26. Beyond that, we will be potentially building another cargo facility to accommodate the demand that we see coming in there. And we're in the early design phases for actually a gate expansion that could be 7 or 8 additional gates onto the airport, including an international federal inspection facility. We have one now, but this would bring it into the new standards and be much larger because when it was built in the early 80s, late 70s, it just wasn't built to the standards in the aircraft that we have now. Yeah. So those are all, and baggage handling systems, and then all those things that aren't as sexy, like heating and air conditioning and replacing windows and all those things that all homeowners know that you got to do every once in a while. Well, we have to do that at the airport as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I want to go back to something you mentioned ago when we're talking about the expansion of the garage and everything. You mentioned Uber and some of the rideshare programs. Mm-hmm. I recalled a conversation you and I had a few years ago when Uber was kind of new, and there was the big question, can Uber serve the airport? Now you have a special lot for the Uber driver, so things have really evolved, haven't they?
They have, and it's when that first happened, there were a lot of questions like, will people really use a service like that? Maybe that's just for big cities. And now it's become so synonymous with travel. And in many cases, if people are going to go out, for an evening on the town, they just decide to Uber rather than drive down and find parking in downtown areas or whatever. And it has become just a common occurrence. And so we do have a dedicated area for them to kind of gather and make sure that, when people call for them, a lot of times you'll have 100 people come off an airplane and they may need 30 or 40 Ubers, that all have to show up at one time. And so they kind of gather up, know the flight schedule, and then can all meet there. Yeah. And, there's other services too, like Lyft, and there's some other car services, and that now there's 3 or 4 different types of, shared ride services that operate at airports and here at GSP. And it's probably something that we'll continue to see expand over time. Yep.
Tom Tyre is Vice President, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer with the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport. So, Tom, there's a lot of things, and you and I have discussed this before too. The GSP has come a long way since, as a kid, I've walked out on in the open air gates, and you didn't have TSA to check it with. You could go with your family all the way to the gate and watch them walk across the tarmac. What do you see the next 10, 20 years? What are going to be the big changes to GSP?
Well, I think, like we had talked before, I think you're going to see some additional gates being added on. Before we do that, the FAA is actually currently and has been studying for quite some time the construction of a brand new air traffic control tower. So our tower would come down. We'd have that in another area. Then we can push the building out. I think overall, with all travel, you're going to see that the TSA security process will get even more streamlined. You know, when that first happened, it was pretty, it was a chore to come through the airport for a few years. And as technology has been put into place and people have become more familiar with using, you know, their cell phone as really their ticket and those types of things, I think you'll get a more streamlined experience at airports. And probably even a more secure one, you know, as the security comes about.
Sure.
And I think you're also going to be finding airports like GSP. You know, just a year ago we announced nonstop service to Los Angeles. You know, years ago that would have never been even a consideration for an airport with a community our size. And I think you will find that in the next few years, this airport will have significantly more nonstop destinations than what we even have today. We have an all-time record now with 29. I could see 35, 40 in the next couple years.
Wow.
And so just having that breadth of service is a level of convenience and, you know, that people just couldn't think of before. You always had to go to Atlanta or Charlotte and make a connection. And now you're going to have, you know, up to 25, 30 other places you can go nonstop and just go away for the weekend if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, you guys continue to do just a fantastic job in my travels, and I'm over there in and out quite a bit throughout the year, and it just always makes me feel good when I'm at an airport and we're coming this way, and I'm talking to people who are coming to the upstate, and you know they talk about, well, they live in Newberry or Lawrence or Gaffney or somewhere, and you know they maybe drive 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour or more to come here, and I think, gosh, it's 5 minutes from my house, and I always just kind of forget that, you know. But you guys have truly become the airport for this region.
Well, and that was always the vision back in the days with Roger Milliken and all the civic leaders who first put all this together. You know, there's early quotes that we went through and looked at some newspaper clippings and things, and it was the entire vision of building this airport was that it was going to be a regional asset and that they bought as much land as they could early on so that we knew that this facility could grow as the community grew. Yeah. And so they really had some forethought back in the 50s and 60s that this community is really benefiting from today.
Yep. Tom, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Appreciate what you guys are doing, and we'll do this again soon. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. A recent Facebook post caught my attention. It was about a great organization in the Midlands of South Carolina where members of the South Carolina Highway Patrol, the State Law Enforcement Division, and the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy all work together to pack 2,000 boxes of groceries. It's part of Serve and Connect's Greg's Groceries program. And I texted a few friends and asked, well, how do I find out more about this organization? Our guest on the line today is Trooper William Bennett with the South Carolina Highway Patrol and founder and CEO of Serve and Connect, Kassy Alia Ray, along with the Chief Operating Officer, Kim Dennis. Welcome, all of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Appreciate your time. Let's just start with the basics. And Kassy, I'd like to start with you about Serve and Connect, and how did this mission start?
Yeah, so Serve and Connect, we are a nonprofit with the mission of fostering positive change through police and community partnerships. And I founded the organization after my husband, Greg, who was a police officer here in the Columbia area with the city of Forest Acres, was shot and killed in the line of duty on September 30th of 2015. And when that happened, I felt really called to do something about the divisiveness and distrust between police and communities. Because if you think back to 2015, it was at a time of really heightened unrest, heightened tensions, and That really impacted me after Greg's death. And I wanted to be a part of creating healing and change. And that led us down the road to launching Serve and Connect.
Yeah. When I looked at the website, and I invite our listeners to take a look at it, servingconnect.org, servingconnect.org. There's a lot of talk about building trust between law enforcement and the communities. Trooper Bennett, what does that look like in practical, everyday terms as far as law enforcement?
Yeah, well, we have to kind of do dual roles. We have to be an enforcer. We also have to be able to help people. There's times where we might have to give somebody a ticket, or we might have to take them to jail for something they've done. But on the turnaround, the flip side, we may be able to give them this box of groceries. And it just kind of helps humanize the badge a little bit. Let them see that, hey, while we got a job to do, and sometimes we have to make tough decisions and do things that people don't like, we also can turn around and be a helping hand and help them out through a bad situation that they might be in.
Yeah. Serve and Connect works in neighborhoods facing some tough challenges: poverty, crime, lack of opportunity. Kim, I'd like to throw this over to you. How does your organization approach those communities in a way that earns that respect instead of resistance?
So I think for us, the keyword's consistency, where we show up and we stay there. And it's not an automatic, you have to trust the police. It's more of we go in and we listen and we seek to understand what their concerns are, what their problems are. And then we talk to law enforcement as well, and then we bring them together. It's not a go in and say you have to trust the police. We really work with them to figure out where the root causes lie.
Yeah. One of your hallmark efforts is Greg's Groceries program. Kassy, this is personal, obviously, for you. Talk with us about how this connects officers directly with families in need.
Absolutely. So Greg's Groceries at its core is one of our signature programs, really the first step in our partnership process with police across the Carolinas. And it's where we package boxes of non-perishable food, police, community volunteers side by side. And then those boxes of food go back with police agencies and officers. So when they come across someone in need, they're able to help. Police are often the front line to people in their worst moments, their greatest times of need and challenge. And often police find ways to go out of their own way and own pocket to help. But what we've heard time and time again is that they need more resources, more support to do what they do best, and that's help people. A few months before Greg died, I'll never forget it. I was asking him about the tensions between police and communities at that time, back in 2015. And he said that for every one negative story we hear, there are thousands of positive stories happening every day that go unnoticed. And recognizing that and seeing that officers every day are coming across people in need and finding ways to help, Greg's Groceries is that additional tool to continue to amplify the good that's already existing and help it spread to more touch points, more connections, and more communities.
Yeah. My guests today are with Serve and Connect, and let me invite you to check this organization out, servingconnect.org, servingconnect.org. Kassy Ray is founder, CEO of Serve and Connect. Kim Dennis is Chief Operating Officer, and also with us is Trooper William Bennett with the South Carolina Highway Patrol. Kim, another program that you guys work with is you feed law enforcement officers, and I saw that you have a goal of feeding 1,000 officers a year. How's that going?
It's going good. We are up to being able to feed about 850 officers, so we're definitely looking for some more sponsors. But this is probably one of my favorite times a year to be able to go out and feed officers, because you just see how happy they are and how much they do appreciate it.
It really is nice, isn't it? We do a similar project in the upstate of South Carolina where I live in Greenville, and we call it LEAD, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. We do it in September, and we serve breakfast. And it's sort of a drive-through thing. It started out being a sit-down breakfast years ago, and then COVID kind of closed it down. But we didn't want to be stopped completely, so we did a drive-through, and it worked so well that we've kept it that way since then. And so officers drive through to downtown airport in Greenville, and they get coffee, they get breakfast, they get gifts and prizes and things. But one of the coolest things is when we start at 6 a.m., we all arrive around 5, and the line of cars are already backed up. down South Pleasantburg Drive in Greenville, and to see those blue lights and see those officers come through, it really just kind of for that 3 hours that morning, it makes you feel like you're helping these officers, and I know you guys feel the same way.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Trooper Bennett, back to you. How does this make you and your colleagues feel when an organization like this says, hey, we just want to feed you today?
Well, it's great, and I can't say enough good things about Serve and Connect and the work they do. And I've kind of been there since the beginnings. So, I've kind of got a personal investment in the organization and where it's going. And I just, again, it's Serve and Connect when they're Feed the Officer campaign, and it's the public in general. I can't tell you how many times I've went somewhere to eat and they come and say, hey, somebody paid for your food or paid for your meal. It happens all the time. And, it's as a law enforcement officer to know that the community is supporting us. We have a great support from the community here in South Carolina. We're very blessed that most of the people are supporting what we're doing. There's a lot of negativity out there if you watch the TV at night, watch the news. So to have that positive, influence and know that people do care about us and what we're doing, it does make us feel very appreciated. And I really feel blessed to be a law enforcement officer in South Carolina.
Yeah, well, and I applaud you guys for what you're doing there in the Midlands. One final question for you, Kassy. For listeners who want to help, donate, get involved, what's the best way to connect with your mission? And I'm assuming money's always needed, but I guess volunteers as well?
Absolutely, 100%. So we do invite you and encourage you to go check us out on social media channels, but also our website, serveandconnect.org. And if you go to the Contact Us button, that will take you to be able to reach out and find ways to get involved. But absolutely, we are always looking for new partners, new ways to work together. And the biggest need that we're coming across right now is, especially with Greg's Groceries, the need is just so great. And we have our partners across the state, including in the upstate, who the biggest request is more resources, more boxes. And if we can find partners who can help make us happen, we look forward to continuing to spread more trust and build bridges together.
Yeah. Thank you all for your time today, and I wish you much success in the future.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Everyone says they'll start after the holidays, and that's exactly why most people never tackle those extra pounds at all. Joey Hudson here. Right now, PhD Weight Loss is making it easy to start before the new year with a bonus designed to get you moving now. They're adding 2 free weeks to your program. That means you can ramp up during the holidays and start the new year already working toward your goals. Those 2 free weeks mean you won't roll into January feeling behind. You'll hit January already losing, already feeling better, already in control. PhD's metabolic reset system teaches your body to burn fat first. No drugs, no starvation diets, no endless workouts, just a smarter science-based system that fits real life. And when you mention 2 weeks on the phone, they'll waive your consultation fee and pay for the cost of your food during the entire program. There's no reason to wait, no reason to repeat last year. Call PhD Weight Loss today and start 2026 already ahead. 864-644-1900. Call today. That's 864-644-1900. Or go to myphdweightloss.com. Don't wait. Do it today. As we roll into the holiday season, shopping, traveling, family gatherings, and all the hustle and bustle that comes with it, it's easy to forget this time of the year is also prime time for criminals looking to take advantage of distracted shoppers and busy families. Here in Greenville County, law enforcement is stepping up in a big way to help keep our neighborhood safe. Joining us today, Master Deputy Shakita Davis, CrimeStoppers Coordinator with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, someone who sees firsthand how scammers, thieves, holiday-related crime tends to pop up during this time of the year. She's here with some smart, practical safety tips to keep you and your family protected, whether you're hitting the mall, ordering online, or heading out of town for a few days. Deputy Davis, is always good to have you. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Let's just kind of start broadly here. What are the biggest holiday crime trends that you see every year here in the upstate?
Much of the high-level crimes are associated with shoplifting and auto break-ins.
So you need to keep your cars locked, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
We encourage anyone when you're out shopping to make sure that you stay alert to your surroundings. Try to park in well-lit areas if possible. Try to be in positions that are close to the entry and exit points of that facility. making sure that you're locking your doors, that you have your windows up. And if you have been shopping at other stores prior to your new location, making sure that you have those items, those gifts hidden away in the trunk area.
Yeah, don't just leave them out where and make it easy for the crooks to see. And it is important. You make a good point there as far as when you're in the mall area and all, particularly at night, to try to stay in those areas where it's well lighted and just be aware of your surroundings. I mean, look around and know who's coming and going, right?
Correct. So often individuals have their heads down. We're messing with phones and different devices, but having that head on a swivel, making sure that you see who's approaching you, who may be in close proximity behind you, looking at people in their eyes as you approach, all those things make a difference.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about porch pirates. We see a lot of the doorbell security cameras this time of the year showing where people, are pulling up, grabbing gifts, boxes off of the front porch. Are there things that people can do who do a lot of online shopping to protect themselves?
Yeah, so when we think about the home, we look at it in two different ways. So if you are a person who travels and you leave your home during the holidays or you're gone for long periods of time, we encourage you to have some type of potential automatic timer for your lights, potentially for your TV or even for your radio, so that it gives the appearance that someone is at the home, even in your absence. We encourage people to make sure that you are picking up your mail, that you're keeping your sidewalks clear, that you're not leaving packages out for long periods of time unattended.
Yeah.
Also, if you have shrubbery or other things that could block your view to a roadway, potentially it could block the view of someone approaching your home. So making sure you're doing that type of yard maintenance. And when individuals are approaching your door and you identify them as a potential stranger, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask, well, who are you? What company are you with? Can you show me some identification? Especially with all the different scam calls that come over the phone. This is a season that, as much as individuals love the holidays, criminals love the holidays, and they may call asking for a donation. So making sure that if you do decide to donate, you're actually donating to a trusted charitable organization. And that does, again, come with making sure you have proper identification and you've done your due diligence with research.
Sure. My guest today is Master Deputy Shakita Davis. She's the Crime Stoppers Coordinator and with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office. Now you mentioned the charities and people who will take advantage of people. Do you have some tips as far as how you can identify maybe fake charities and what people should be looking out for?
If you're not sure about the number that's calling, it's always okay to hang up. Yeah. Hang up, look up the number for yourself, do the research on the site, and then attempt to call a number back that you see that is posted.
Yeah.
Also checking in the browsers. A lot of secure networks will have the padlock, so that should help you somewhat identify if it is a secured network.
Yeah. As I mentioned a minute ago, Master Deputy Shakita Davis is also the Crime Stoppers Coordinator. This time of the year, how important are anonymous tips in solving cases and preventing these incidents?
Reporting crime through Crime Stoppers is tremendously important because it helps the community partner with law enforcement. It builds a strong relationship, and you're anonymous when you participate with Crime Stoppers, so you don't have to reveal your identity, so it lessens the chance for any type of retaliation that many community members may consider could come from criminals. But we encourage individuals to utilize Crime Stoppers through 864-23-CRIME, which is our call center number, through our website, to follow us on social media, because it helps you be proactive in keeping Greenville County safe.
Right, and that website is 23crime.com, 23crime.com. Now you assure people that they will remain anonymous and that they can potentially receive a reward. How is that possible? How does that work?
So the reward money comes from Crime Stoppers fundraising, and if a tipster provides us information and it leads to the arrest, they receive cash rewards for that information. So the information is submitted, it's forwarded to law enforcement. They work that information, and Crime Stoppers is very credible, and we solve a wide range of crimes, those that are local incidents and major crimes within the area.
Yeah, and again, it's real easy to do. You can call Crime Stoppers 864-23-CRIME or online at 23crime.com, 23crime.com, and it's just real easy to do. You can just click on the info there and submit your information, and nobody will ever know that you have submitted that, and you could be eligible to receive up to a $2,000 cash reward. Master Deputy Shakita Davis, it's always a pleasure. Appreciate what you do for our community, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed one.
That's it for this special weekend edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.